Alrighty everyone, let's have a quick fun video before Flynn actually comes regarding his weapon investment. So basically we'll be building kind of like a quick tier list for Flynn's potential weapons usage because he is a DPS character and we do have quite a lot of nice DPS polearm out there. So there are many options for us to consider to use, and here's going to be my personal tier list that I ranked them upon his potential usage based on the data I've been researching on, which hopefully will help you build Flynn's a bit easier. Loma and Flins, as well as so many other amazing Notcry character, is coming pretty soon, and I know that many of you are trying to get them. So if you're planning to swipe for pooling, then don't forget to check out Loot Bar. If you know me, I've been recommending you guys Loot Bar before, since you can always save almost a 25% on all of your top-ups. With over 100,000 orders and so many good reviews at this point, you can be sure that Loot Bar is trustworthy. Here you can see my order receipts of all of my top-ups that I have done. A 6.0 is the anniversary patch. Loot Bar is holding a special discount for the all-in-one bundle, and it's actually a pretty nice discount. Other than that, you will also be able to claim 1.5% coupon as well as 2.3% coupons for the rewards as well. So guys, be sure to check out Loot Bar through the link in my description, as it can be a great way for you to save your money, especially if you are topping up a large amount. So first off, definitely his signature weapon is going to be the soul weapons on the S rank, providing nice crit rate, direct increase to his lunar charge personal damage, and a powerful passive that boosts crit damage as well as restoring energy. So everything just fits perfectly for Flins. Onto the A tier itself, we have the Staff of Scarlet Sands. Basically, Flins will be able to make use of all of these weapons with a really nice 44% crit rate, and many of his EM would technically be converted into bonus attack as well. Really nice, considering that Flins does like to have a bit of EM built onto him, and sometimes his team does provide him more EM, so in turn he gets more attack. Flins can also make use of the Halo rather well, so it sits on A tier. Now, a bit of a rare weapon, because if you do have this weapon, it is probably going to be on your Inefa, but while for some reason you kind of lose this weapon and you don't have Inefa, a 66% crit damage with a 24% attack increase for over 20 seconds is rather nice. Now the sad part is that he most likely won't be able to make use of the rest of the passive, which does have the 40% lunar charge damage increase, which is why it is better off for Inefa. But overall, if you do have it, you just slot onto him, he can make use of this pretty well. Other than that, the Jade Spear is really nice. Flint uses his attack a lot. He is also a hyper carry, making full use of this weapons and its passive. Not to mention, it is a weapon that you can potentially get for free, so ranking really high on the tier list makes sense for this as well. Other than that, Staff of Oma on the same tier, really nice weapon with a lot of crit damage, and also Flint can make many use of this weapon passive as well. Onto the B tier, we have the Engulfing Lightning. Now the thing is with Flint is that he is a character that loves to have his energy regen being properly built. Now he is an electro character, so many of the time electro resonance does help out, but if you have the Engulfing Lightning, you haven't been using Radiant Shogun for a bit of time, he can make use of it pretty nice. For the more energy regen he has, the more uptime his burst has, but the thing is with the Engulfing Lightning, it converts his energy regen into his attack, so that is really nice. Some other decent option we have is if you do have the invested bypass weapons, the Deathmatch and the Battle of the Fjord. Those are really decent as a 4-star invested options. Obviously you do need an R5 for it to get the maximum power out of it, but if you do, it does allow him to do a really nice damage. Other than that, Escoffier's weapons is rather a niche one. Again, if you do have this weapon, you probably have it slotted on your Escoffier. But again, if you don't, it's 66% crit damage. Other than that, an extra 12% attack increase is generally nice. The bad thing about this is that most of the time you won't be able to make use of 2/3 of the passive, so it kind of sucks, but it is a nice stat stick for him. Same situation with the Lumidos, very rare weapon as it is for Emily, but again, if you're not using it, it is a rather nice stat stick. The C tier is where the majority of the 5-star weapons really falls off in damage, because Flint can't make use of many of its passive most of the time. The Vortex is actually kind of decent if you have Inefa, for example, on his team to make sure that shield is active. But again, this weapon focuses a little bit too much on attack, so it's lower on the other tier weapons. Crimson Moon, really hard to make use of it for Flynn, even though it does give him crit rate, but it is lesser than the deathmatch, and he can't make the most use out of the passive. Calamity, same situation as the Vortex, a little bit way too much attack and can't make use of most of the passive. Now, coming up to not craftable weapons. If you are mostly a free-to-play player, you don't really have access to any of the 5-star we've discussed, I would honestly rank this on an S tier because not only it is free to play, it does allows him to do really decent damage. If you've watched my video on talking about Flynn's investment, his C1 alongside with an R5 not craftable is generally better than a C0 Flynn's with his signature. So this weapon value is really good, but for the sake of the weapon tier list and compared to the other weapon options, it is staying on a C tier for the time being. Massive Wind Spear is good as well. If you do have access to it, an R5 level most of you should have if you've been to the event. Scout Spine does have its value, but I would really recommend it over many of the other options. It does give him a bit of normal attack speed increase, slightly low crit rate of an 8% increase in energy regen, not too good. You're just better off using not craftable in place of the Scout Spine at this point. Some other options that you can consider are going to be this, the Ohonashi, bit of energy regen increase with nice attack increase for the substats. Can make use of it, so it's kind of nice. Moon Piercer is something that he can't use if he is more or less in a Hyper Bloom team because of the EM increase and a bit of attack increase. Contain Cross, Favonius Lance, those kind of, honestly, the D tier options, just go with the not cry and you're better off going for it. But if you are in the situation where you don't have the not cry craftable weapon yet, you can consider some of these options until you have basically an R5 not cry craftable weapons, and that's going to be generally better. So these guys are my tier list ranking for his weapon at the current point. If you have any questions or other discussion, leave down in the comment sections and I or some other lovely Genshin player will get to you there. I hope that the video have been able to help you out. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe, as it is a free way to support the channel and me, and also not missing out on my future Genshin videos. With that, I wish you a super day and I'll catch you on my next video.